Hello my friends, and today we have an extremely interesting situation on the front line. So if we look at the directions of Luhansk and Donetsk, we can see that there is even more offensive actions on the Luhansk front than on the Donetsk front today. And one question arises. While on the Donetsk front, we understand that the Russians are moving towards Pokrovsk or might head to Kostiantynivka to encroach upon the Ukrainian forces' rear. Where are they moving with such a massive force from the Luhansk region? So it seems the Russians urgently want to reclaim lost territory, pushing again towards Lyman, Sviatohirsk, and Izyum. And as can be seen on the map, where the Russians were before the Ukrainian counteroffensive, a summer encirclement is created for Sloviansk and Kramatorsk. Based on these events, it appears that Kostiantynivka, Sloviansk, and Kramatorsk are their main objectives for the coming months. Whether they'll succeed in their plans, we'll find out soon. So it all depends on how successful will be in using the new package of military aid to stop the Russians. And now let's take a closer look at each direction, and let's start with Avdiivka. So over the past day, the occupiers conducted 23 attacks, and today they've resumed assaults on Netailova, Yasnobrodivka, and Umansk. And here they are trying to reach Karlovsk reservoir and completely capture this section of the front. Meanwhile, in the Ocheretiny area, attempts to expand controlled territory continue. The main battles are taking place around the villages of Sokil, Arkhangelsk, and Keramik. The Ukrainian forces are attempting counterattacks, but so far there seem to be no improvements along the front line. Although the occupiers are also struggling to advance further. So there is a possibility that they are now pulling reserves from Avdiivka, since they've rapidly expanded controlled territory. And now they need to bring in reserves, artillery, and warehouses closer to the front line, after which a new wave of assaults may begin. Because in the days when the Russians were succeeded in breaking through, there were over 40 assaults per day recorded, and now there are just over 20 assaults. So it's evident that the activity has decreased by half. So we are waiting to see what further actions the occupiers will take. So they are also continuing to strike the rear and are once again registering strikes in the Pokrovsk area. In the direction of Mariinka, battles are ongoing today around Avdiivka, with reports of attempts to approach the outskirts of Paraskoviivka. Additionally, there continues to be a significant amount of shelling along the front line, but no changes have been recorded in the past day. In the Vuhledar direction, the occupiers, as before, are attempting to break through to Staromayorsk and Urozhaine, but they are not achieving success and only increasing their losses daily. Moreover, attempts to break through to Novodarivka have also been unsuccessful. So today, no new offensive actions have been reported in this direction. In the Zaporizhia direction, the occupiers have resumed attacks on Robotyne, accompanied by intensified shelling of the village. However, there have been no changes along the front line in the past day. Ukrainian forces report that repelling Russian attacks becomes increasingly challenging with each occurrence, as the relentless shelling continues and fortified areas are being disrupted. Additionally, the occupiers persist in shelling rear areas, with reports of shelling in Zaporizhia and ongoing strikes on Nikopol. In the Kherson direction, attacks on the village of Krynki persist, along with intensified shelling of the right bank, both near Krynki and around the liberated island. However, there have been no changes along the front line reported for today. In the Bakhmut direction, so the occupiers maintain their high activity level with 24 attacks recorded in the past day. So Ukrainian forces confirm that the occupiers are attempting to break through on the outskirts of Chasiv Yar, and battles are ongoing in the area of the Novy microdistrict. So the situation there is extremely complex, but Ukrainian forces managed to repel the attacks and the front line remains unchanged. Additionally, battles continue for Klishchiivka and Avdiivka, and in the Ivanivsky area, the Russians have ceased attacks without achieving any success. In the Syrsk direction, the activity level remains high and even increases. So ongoing assaults persist in Bilohorivka, Verkhnyo-Kamenske, and battles are occurring near Spirne and Rozdolivka. So there have been no changes along the front line in the past day, and the Ukrainian forces are doing everything possible to prevent the Russians from achieving a significant breakthrough similar to the Avdiivka direction. So, in the direction of Crimea, all attacks towards Lyman have ceased today. So the Russians haven't achieved success and have begun regrouping. However, offensive actions continue in the forest near Crimea, with assaults ongoing in the areas of the villages of Terny and Nevsky. But the front line in these areas also remains unchanged. In the area of Sviatohirsk, the number of attacks has increased, with 15 assaults recorded in the past day. So the main battles are taking place in the vicinity of the villages of Makiyivka, Grekivka, Novoyegorivka, and Kopanki. Attacks on Berestove have also resumed. Overall, there is a maximum level of intensification, and the occupiers are striving for significant success. So they have deployed a large number of forces for the offensive. Therefore, it's too early to speak about the results of the battles, and we are waiting further developments. In the Kupiansk direction, only shelling continues for now. So part of Kislevka remains under Russian control, but they haven't managed to fully capture the village. So no new changes have been recorded on this section of the front line. Additionally, shelling from Russian territory persists on the border villages of Chernihiv, Sumy, and Kharkiv regions. And yesterday, air defense systems were active in the Belgorod region. So it's also reported that successful strikes on the oil refinery plant on Russian territory have led to fuel supply problems for them.
Russia has run out of gasoline due to Ukrainian attacks on oil refineries. Politico writes about it. Diesel prices for Russians have risen sharply, while gasoline prices have reached a 6-month high. Moscow has already banned the export of gasoline and diesel. It may have to import gasoline from reserves in Belarus.
Meanwhile, Tucker Carlson conducted an interview with one of the leading ideologists of Russian nationalism and instigator of war and genocide against Ukrainians, Aleksandr Dugin.
When Putin insisted more and more on this traditional agenda, I would say, on the particularity and speciality of the Russian civilization as some special type of world vision that had and has now very little similarities with the progressist ideals. So I think that they have discovered, they have identified in Putin precisely what Putin is. So he is a kind of leader, political leader, defending traditional values. So only recently, 1 year ago, Putin has made a decree of the political defense of traditional values. That was turning point, I would say. But observers from the progressive camp in the West, I think they have understood that from the beginning of his rule. Correct?
And that's all from me. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.